So glad you're here. Welcome to Real Talk. We have two very special people in the building. Well, not in the building, coronavirus, but they're shooting in. They're in Canada. We're going international day. Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Levi and Pastor Nadia Marychurch.
Yeah. What's up, everybody?
The one and only.
Two of the greatest preachers, greatest leaders, best looking, best dressed that you'll get from anywhere. How are we, guys?
Too kind, man. Far out. We're good, bro. We are living the dream. It's the Canadian springtime right now. So we're in the middle of COVID-19 in quarantine. That rhymed. But it's me.
Good job, babe. Good job.
No problem at all.
Give it
Our favorite color.
Why don't we do that? Nats, can you drop a beat? And let's get Levi giving us a freestyle.
Oh, nah, guys.
I cannot drop a beat.
Levi, you backed out.
Boom.
No, it's not. This is not about that. This is about contributing what's going to help others. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people, bro.
We're here for you, though.
We are here for you.
Hey, how's life? How's everything in COVID? What's going on? How's things?
Honestly, it's not too bad. We have got our 4 kids at home, and so we're homeschooling them, still trying to keep the church alive. Obviously, it's unique because we launched the church just under a year ago. We actually celebrate our 1-year anniversary next week.
Next
week. And so it's a unique thing, trying to keep that momentum up for a church that's only just started. But our people are sticking with us, and they're amazing. Best church ever. And we are enjoying more time together. Oh, so nice.
Which we love.
Yeah, and then just doing online church.
A lot of people I'm talking to, marriages that people have just had a fight. Like when I talk to them, I hate going.
It's true. Like, a lot of people getting angry with each other.
A massive fight, bro.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're hearing that too. We're probably finding this getting better and better. Like as the
I know, we feel the same.
Even the kids' behaviour is getting better and better. Like they weren't bad before, but they just play all day together. Like
rhythms, man.
Yeah,
it's been so good. It's been so good. Like first couple of weeks of COVID were like crazy with like just getting everything rolled over
totally
and online and all that. But ever since like we started building rhythms, it's just been like
it's been nice.
It's been awesome. We're loving it.
Yeah, we find the same thing. It's one of those things, isn't it? Because you don't want to play down everything that's going on, because there are literally people dying right now.
Totally.
But at the same time, you kind of want to approach life the way that we're taught to approach life, and that is to be grateful, to be filled with joy, to try and make the most of what we have. And so we're really trying to do that. It's been good.
So good. It has been good. It's been so good. Hey, what we want to do is this, right? Before we get started into a convo about life, like some of the things that we would love to chat to you guys about is around things like family, the way you guys do family culture, how you create that climate. That's something that we've seen that you guys do better than anyone that we know. And so we'd love to talk a bit about that, and even the creative side, because you guys are always swagged out. You guys are always looking sharp, but even the we've stuff that you put out, your comm stuff that you do is incredible. So we'll dive into all that later. But before we get there, we're going to do a segment called Would You Rather. Okay?
Yeah.
These are hypotheticals, and you just got to tell us what your gut is on this one. And it's your best answer. I feel like this is going to be fun because I know, Levi, you are a thinker and you have some incredible, I know you're going to have some good answers for this. So,
I'm locked, bro. We're ready.
Let's go. All right, babe, why don't you kick us off? Let's go. Question number 1, would you rather? Let's go.
Would you rather lose an arm or a leg?
Wow, straight in. Okay.
That's always tough, isn't it? Because I think when you think about amputation and you think about actually repairing the limb itself, because if you lost one, you're going to get a fake one put on, right? A prosthetic.
Yeah.
And so what's better? Really, the question is, what's better, a prosthetic arm or a prosthetic leg?
This is true. I was going to say a similar thing, actually, because prosthetic arm, you don't really get a very good hand, right? It's pretty like meh. But a prosthetic,
right?
The foot is just going to be kind of like your foot.
You're not going to run, probably.
Yeah.
You're not going to be wrestling and stuff. But I do think having 2 functional arms,
because you get the fingers, you get the phalanges.
Yeah.
I think we both agree.
So let's say that prosthetics weren't on the cards. Let's say you're not in a position to get it replaced. We're going like limbless. Right?
Okay.
Where are we at?
We live in Canada. We have universal healthcare. So Are you painting a hypothetical where we're not? We're like, are we totally world? Because
we're back in New Zealand here, and no. I don't even know what New Zealand's healthcare is like.
It's also universal healthcare. I think we're educating you actually on.
Okay, hey, let's go to the next question. Yeah,
but if I could, so would you rather lose? I'd rather lose a leg.
I think if we couldn't get prosthetics, I'd probably rather lose an arm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really? You lose an arm?
Yeah, if I can get prosthetics.
No way.
Yeah.
That's big. All right, let's keep rolling. Let's keep. Okay. I'm gonna go.
You gotta have your foundation.
This is incredible. Okay, would you rather forget who? No, that was a stupid question. Okay, would you rather know how you die or know when you die? This is very grim. Sorry.
Wow, good question.
Would you rather know how you die or know
how or when?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because think it through.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to know when.
Yeah.
I don't want to know when. However, if it's how and it's something, let's say it's electrocution or car crash, I'm never going to drive. I'm never going to use electric razor. Like I'm staying away from wall plugs.
Yeah, 100%. Look, this is real talk. We don't play games on this show, man. Like,
oh man.
Okay, how?
How? Yeah. Okay.
So you'd want to know
you'd
how.
choose how.
I'd rather know how.
Yep.
I'd probably want to know when. Because then I like planning.
Explain it like okay, right? You want to plan your death. Okay.
I want to make the most of the time I've got. So I'd be like, great, okay, between now and then, this is what we're gonna do.
That's a good one. I've never heard that one.
Yeah. What was your thinking behind yours, Lee?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to know when. I don't want to know how long I have. I don't want to live. I just want to live every day like it's my last and just enjoy life
That's so cliche.
Oh, is this called the Taking Shots podcast, is it? Oh my God. Wow. Speaking of marriages that have no fights, we're about to end that streak.
We're about to have one right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do it.
Is this recording?
What was your answer to that?
I'd probably like to know when.
As well?
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Maybe it's a guy-girl thing.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think I'm when as well. And the reason is because here's the reason, right? I think if you know how, you'll live your life in fear. But if you know when, I think you can just live like you just know when it's going to happen. It's like I'm
powerful.
Okay, now you've changed my mind.
Powerful.
The three of you.
You're preaching now. You're preaching.
Honestly though, if you knew that, like let's say it was 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you would give everything that you had in that time frame that you had. So whatever the time frame is, you're probably going to live your life to the maximum capacity that you could live at because you knew.
Essentially, what we're saying is you find out you have a terminal illness and that's got a date attached to it, and you become Morgan Freeman on the bucket list.
Pretty much, bro.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy to be Morgan Freeman.
Yo, okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, next one. Go you.
Okay, this is one that I personally wrestled with.
If you're asking the question,
I haven't been able to answer it. It's been years.
It's a very strange question. This one.
Yeah, but it's strange, but it's very hard to answer. Would you prefer a head half the size of your current head or twice the size?
I know a guy that has a head half the size. And I know a guy that has a head twice the size.
No.
And the guy that has a head half the size never gets mocked because people feel so bad and it's just the elephant in the room or the mini elephant in the room. But the guy with the head that's twice the size, it's just a thing that he makes fun of.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think if your head's tiny, you can't laugh about it, man.
Yeah.
It's too much. But if your head's massive, you're just like, oh, well, bro, YOLO. I got a massive head, huge brain. You know that thing about people with big heads, massive hats. You know what I mean? You know, I just think that's my vibe. You know, that's
true.
So do you actually know people like this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I won't say their names.
No, of course not.
So what was your decision?
Jesse.
Levi.
He's a great friend. He's got a massive head.
But you're saying you would go which way?
Big head.
Big head. Okay, right.
Yeah, I think I'd do big head too.
Yeah, I'm the same. What's your decision? Because you've never
I can't decide.
No. You know what? Real talk. This is actually the Anzac Day version right here. The edition. You should.
Yeah, let's go.
Give the people.
You have to.
I'm going to say half the size.
Because you already have a big head.
Yeah, do my head.
It's because your head is almost double the size. So.
I'll try something.
That's basically like taking one of your kids' heads and putting them on your shoulders right now.
So cute.
I can't
but a toddler head.
Yeah.
I tell you what it would do. It was if
Like
I had
a baby head.
a baby head.
Baby head.
If I had a baby head,
That's what they would call you probably.
yeah, baby head, small head. If I had a baby head, I would definitely. That would encourage me to stay as slim as possible.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what? Having a head double the size allows you to be free with your food. It's like, yo, stuff it, man. I'm at KFC, Hungry Jack, Macca's, whatever, all day, every day.
Exactly. You could make up for it.
100%. You can grow into it.
Yeah, you could.
Exactly. I was growing into it.
Man.
I'm about it. Okay. Here's another one. Would you rather say everything that comes to your mind or say nothing ever again?
Everything that comes to my mind.
Everything that comes to my mind.
Yeah, same. Okay. I'm the same. What was yours?
Very pure thoughts. And
what thoughts are you thinking?
No, I'm just saying they're confident with what they're thinking.
Yeah, I'd do the same.
No, I'm not confident with what I think. We just are 4 people cross country right now, across the seas, on a recorded live Zoom chat.
Talk that.
Because we have too much to say.
That's right. That's right.
We have too much to say. If I couldn't talk, I would go mad. I think I would be.
Levi would. He's got the highest word count in our house. if he, they say that it's women who have the highest word count. Yes. It's Levi in our house, and so if he couldn't talk, I genuinely think that he would lose his mind.
It'd be a grim reality for me, people, but great for everyone else.
No. I 100% agree with that. What would you do?
I'd probably not talk.
Really?
Yeah.
Like never say it. I love
sign
you.
language. Yeah.
Never say I do.
Sign language. Nice. You could write notes.
Yeah.
And I respect that. Yeah.
Is there one more? What's? Do you want to ask one more? Yeah, you got to ask one more.
One more. Okay. Would you rather forget who you were?
No. We've already asked that one. Oh, that one's a weird one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Would you rather be uglier or dumber?
What a way to end the segment.
You just threw me under the bus.
So would I rather be uglier or dumber?
Yeah.
Uglier.
Definitely.
Easy.
Yeah, because we all get ugly anyway. But the hope is that our brains get better. And if it couldn't get better, then, man, how bad would old age be?
Yeah.
The worst.
I agree. I think that's 100%. Yeah. Speaking of being ugly or dumber, I actually have no way to segue into the next part. But what we're going to do is this. Drum roll. Hey, tell us about your story. Wait, no, but honestly, how has everything been going?
Speaking of ugly, tell us about your testimony.
Speaking of stupid, how about the decision to move to Canada and uproot your safe life? Sorry, but tell us honestly, how's the journey been? You guys have done the craziest step, uprooted everything, family, friends, and just.
With never been to Canada, is that correct?
No.
For your first time once you'd.
That's right.
Yeah, how's it been?
Oh, it's been amazing. Honestly, it's been really great. I think that Nadia and I are probably gifted. Nadia is infinitely more gifted than I am, but where we are gifted together is we probably oversimplify in a really positive way. Big things, big decisions.
Yeah.
So things that might take a lot of people a lot of time to chew over or process, we just decided to move on. Yeah. And so with moving to Canada, once we decided in 2017 that we would come here, it was like, okay, we're doing it. Great. Done. It's over. There's no more discussion. There's no room for, you're obviously always going to doubt or be fearful, insecurities, all those kind of things. They're all a reality for us for sure. Yeah. But there's no time for that stuff. We're making a decision. Let's go. So we sold everything. We took 8 suitcases and our kids, and we landed here in April of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And really that first year was very much, because I think one of the things that I didn't foresee, and I'll throw to you in a second, and one of the things that I don't think people think about when they think about a scenario like ours is the relational bonds that you've let go of your old friends, essentially, geographically anyway, and the whole, like, creating new friends. Because you really don't make friends every day. You make friends in primary school and high school, at university, and then really you've kind of got your friends, and then now you're in the ministry and you're trying to facilitate other people creating friends. So then we moved to Canada. It's like, okay, first 12 months it's got to be getting the church started, having people in our home, making new relationships, getting something happening. And then 2019, this last 12 months has been about really establishing the church. And we celebrate 1 year next Sunday. So I mean, overall, great, good days and bad days, but we just were like, you know what, we're into it, let's go. And I think probably the first 2 years we were just in there swimming, and I feel like now we're just coming up for breath, like, okay, great, God's done some good things, we're still strong, family's good, we're in a good space, let's keep going, you know. That's probably my take.
Yeah, I'd say it's been really amazing, really eye-opening, and it's been a huge growth season for us. But I'd kind of repeat what Levi said, where we didn't really realize the bigness of what we were doing until somebody else told us that it was big.
Yeah.
So we moved everything. We came to Canada, had never been to Canada, left family and friends behind. But it wasn't until we went to kind of there was this young pastors of North America kind of gathering that we randomly got invited to. And we went there, and it was so funny because everybody's there going, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm the son of this amazing dude. And I'm so-and-so, I'm the son of this epic pastor. And we were like, we're Levi and Nadia, and we're from New Zealand. and we've just moved to Canada, you know, and we're not the son or daughter of anyone that you'd know. But in the middle of that room, a hero of ours basically said in front of everybody, this is Levi and Nadia, two of the most faithful people. Was it faithful? Was it faithful and brave? Oh yeah, faith-filled people.
Something nice.
Two of the most faith people. I know. Wow. And we sat there and we were like, what are we?
Yeah.
And then we and then we went away, and we realized for the first time, probably for real, that what we had done was a big thing, but because God just held us the whole way through, and the whole journey kind of felt like home. So even when we were uplifted out of everything that we knew, I guess because we were held in God's hand, it felt familiar, and it felt right, and it felt like we were doing the right thing. So that has been amazing. And then probably the big learning curve that we had was that starting a church fresh. So we're not in Australia or New Zealand where people may have heard us minister before or had some kind of connection to us, or people who trust our ministry. We're in a whole new country. We're not starting from a brand, so it's not like we moved and started a Rise Church or Hillsong Church or Planet Shakers. We're starting something brand new and fresh. And so we spent a lot of our time really building trust in a new nation with people who we've never met before, because no one knew who we were. And so we just spent that first year building trust, building friendships, throwing out everything that we thought we knew, and then just starting back again. And so I think the beauty of what we've done, one of the beautiful things about what God has done, has been that it is grassroots. We've had to ask some really big questions. We've had to ask the why behind the what. Why do we do that? We only do that because that's what we thought we should do, but actually maybe we shouldn't be doing that. And so it's been really good. It's flushed out a lot of ego. It's flushed out a lot of, know-it-all kind of vibes. And we've just had to go, God, we fully trust you. You build your church. And I mean, we've got nothing else. We're with you on this one. And
So-
so it's been really good. And I think as people we've grown, as ministers we've grown.
Wow.
We have something to say now that has, I think that has authority and depth,
Yeah.
not because of us, but what God has done in us.
Wow.
And I think we believe that the church God is building is really going to impact Canada, which we're really excited about.
Yeah, so good. That's incredible.
So now Zion was strategic about coming up now, because he's a segue into saying your children. How are your children? How did you? Oh,
What is this guy? Put your clothes on, bro. Chicken. Sorry.
How are your children? Like, how have you navigated that with your children? What's been hard for them in this journey? What's been great for them, and how have you
Good question.
navigated that?
Yeah.
Oh, look, speaking of ugly, no,
Shots
far
fired.
from it. Look, I think I was going to say, and it ties right into what you've just asked. Another thing that we've done and always tried to do is really hold the bird lightly in the hand, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And if we came to Canada and failed, and the church failed, or we couldn't start one, and it just didn't happen, we would honestly be able to say, God, we gave this everything. We've given it our best shot. And, oh, well, you know, what's next?
Yeah.
And I think that if that happened, and if we fail in life, at the end of the day, I know that the most valuable thing I have is my relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
That's the most valuable thing I have.
So good.
And he's given me an opportunity to steward a marriage with Nadia, and then now a relationship with 4 children.
Yeah.
And if that's all I have, Jesus, Nadia, Ryder, Mika, Hugo, and Jovi, I am a happy and fulfilled and very content man.
Great.
And highly satisfied, because I just have everything that I need. These are the 5 people, 6 including the Lord, the 7 of us are the happiest people in the world. So if it doesn't go well, then it's all good. So then now coming into the kids, like our family unit is 3, 4, 5 times stronger than it was.
Wow.
And that's no reflection of what we were doing, but probably I think a reflection of the way we were working. And that's our responsibility.
Wow.
We would not giving them the time they needed to be nurtured and grow. I think we minimized things like schooling or dental care or just random things like that. Whereas now you're like, oh, okay, you got a sore tooth. We need to get that fixed. You got this and that. We need to get onto that straight away.
Yeah.
And so I think as a unit, our priorities have changed.
Yeah.
I think we value our time together better. And then I think as a result, the family team that we have is a lot stronger.
Wow.
The kids have always been our number one testimony of our trip.
Wow.
Yeah, they have.
They like, you know, as a parent, when you have a kid and you drop a baby or like you drop a child and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. Like, Lord, you know, forgive me. And then they just bounce, like they physically bounce, or they just like wrap around things. And you're like, this child is made of rubber, you know, because if you drop me from 2 feet, I would break and I would be sore for days. Kids are like that, not just physically, but they're like that mentally and emotionally.
Wow.
Now, that doesn't mean that we manipulate our kids or that we twist and turn them to a breaking point. What it means is that when I think they're about to break, because I am, I look at them, they look at me, and they're solid. They miss their family, they miss their friends, but they've made new family and friends. They've got new experiences, and our kids are the most Canadian thing we have.
Wow.
Because all 4 of them have,
and everything.
all 4 of them have, well, at least 3 of them
We're
have
trying to keep it.
Canadian accents, and we're not willing or hoping to change our accents. We're happy to sound like we sound, but the kids, it just happens, man, and you can't even try to
I'm
get.
pretty sure Jovi was on just before, and she was like yogurt. I was like, what? Already?
Yogurt.
Come on, man. I don't know.
Yeah, big time.
So good. That's
The
great.
kids, honestly, the kids are amazing.
So good. And watching your journey has been amazing, because I think you guys celebrate family so well, and watching how you guys do that with your kids has been awesome. I was going to ask a question. You know, there's been a bit of a, maybe even in the last 10 years, there's been this big push in younger couples, younger people, kind of like that 20s, 30s age, where they're kind of like, they have this desire to go plant a church. This whole church planting thing has really popped through in the last 5, I would even say 5 years, right? People really going, maybe 5 to 10 years. What are you saying to someone? Because I think sometimes it can be the cool thing to plant a church. It can seem like, oh, this sounds like a great idea. Talk to us a little bit about your process, about how you got to that point. What are you saying to someone, a young person, and not just a young person, maybe anyone who's listening who wants to do something like that, who isn't sure about what the cost is yet. You know what I mean? Like they haven't counted the cost, they're unsure of it. You guys are on the other side of it and building something pretty significant and pretty incredible that is touching the world. What are you saying to that person who's weighing this up? What's your advice to them? What are you talking them to?
Let me say one really quick thing, and then I'll throw to Nadia and let you just gather your thoughts, babe. John Cameron asked Phil Pringle, what advice would you have for a church planter? And this was probably pushing 20 years ago, 17, 18 years ago, I think. Yeah, wow. And Phil Pringle said, the first thing he said, don't. That's the first thing he said, don't. Yeah. He said, unless you can't shake it.
Yeah.
And in which case, he said these three things. And this is advice that he gave him all these years ago. Yeah. Glue your cell phone to your ear, run it 9 to 5 like a business, and count everything.
Yeah, right.
I think potentially the three things that he would say today, or the three things that we would implement today, have changed.
Yeah.
Or they shift through what different priorities, because that was 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not so much highlighting the three things as much as I value hard work, etc. But I'm highlighting the first thing he said, which was don't. Yeah. And I think if someone came to me and said, oh, hey, I want to start a church, I'd be like, ooh, like, you know, like, really? Why? Like, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, no comparison.
Yeah, wow.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no
comparison.
I think that the biggest, the picture that I would try and paint for somebody would be to say that when you work for someone, like when we were at Arise, John and Gillian are both above you and beneath you. Yep. So they're your safety net if you fail, and they're the ones who have to answer to the Lord for the decisions of the church, essentially.
Yep.
I have to answer to the Lord for my decisions personally, but for the movement and the decisions of the church, really that's them and the board.
Yep.
So they're above you and beneath you.
Yeah, wow.
So you always know that you don't actually have to raise the money, because they have to. You always know you don't actually have to. That it's their responsibility, right?
Yeah, wow.
And you also know that if you fail, they've got your back. And if you fall over, they're there to pick you up. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go back to church planting. Let's remove leadership above you and their support beneath you. So now you are now that for people.
Wow.
But now you're stretched to be the person who goes to God, looks for the finances, for the vision, for the strategy, everything, etc. All those things, all those great things. But then you're also the person that when someone fails, you catch and you give them the win. Like all of those things, you're now that man and woman that are doing those things. And I think that's been hard because that's been brand new.
Wow.
So the stresses and the hard work associated with those things, man, you need some thick skin. You know, got to go to God. You can't. Your prayers are different. Like it's just so. It's quite a hard. I find it's quite a hard picture to paint the difference between what we were doing or what someone might be doing and really launching and planning a church from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah. I would say it's. I mean, if someone had it in their heart and like Levi said, if you couldn't shake it, for us, we couldn't shake it. We tried. We really tried because we had it pretty good. I mean, we were both on staff. We both enjoyed our jobs. You know, we were just about to build our dream home, literally just about to build it. It was a breeze, you know, but we could not shake the call of God to start something. And the way that I describe it was there was just a different DNA. And, you know, like I've just been doing homeschooling with the kids, learning about DNA and the DNA between, you know, the chromosomes between me and Levi, there's only going to be 2 of them that are different between the 23. And so it's kind of like that with church. You know, there are so many different churches, but there's just a slight variation in the DNA. And for us, we were really like, man, there is a different DNA. And it has to, and when there's a different DNA, God has to get it out because that's a reflection of who he is. And so, because he's always trying to reach his children, right? And everybody's different. So unless we are stepping out and going, man, we've got a different DNA, we have to make sure that that is reflected, then who God is trying to reach isn't going to work. So we have to step out and we have to trust. And if that is in someone, I would say, well, you've got a calling, you've got a responsibility. So although it's hard, you got to do it. Wow. However, if you don't, and you're just thinking, man, this would just be awesome, I would say this: it is not awesome. Do not believe the lie.
Yeah.
And that's what we've tried to do, is really try and bring a bit of authenticity, because it is great. It's incredible. We look back at the last 2 years and it's like, wow. But there were moments that are so tough and are so, what I'd say is this: it's the most refining season ever. You'll never, starting a church in that first year, so refining.
Wow.
It's incredibly stretching for your faith, because you're believing for stuff you've never had to believe for before. Someone else had to do it. Now you have to do it. Wow. So it stops with you. Yeah. So no one else is coming to your rescue. You're not kind of looking back and going, you're just going, oh no, this is me. I have to fast.
Wow. Yeah.
I have to fast. I have to believe. I have to get the breakthrough. Like you start doing Sunday services, and if the presence of God isn't there, guess whose fault that is? Yeah. That's yours.
Wow.
And so now you're coming home and going, Flip, I need to fast. I have to get rid of this. I have to do this every day. I've got to dig in more. So there's just so much in it. And like Levi said, it is the hardest thing we have ever had to do. But because we knew we were called to it, you just keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Wow. And now we've been in Canada almost 2 years now. And now we're starting to, like Levi said,
emerge. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Something that we've loved about you guys from the first time we met you, I'll never forget, we've met a couple of times here and there, but there was one time when you guys came and preached in New South Wales. You did something for our church, and then came and did some stuff for Youth Alive. And I think it was probably one of my favorite car rides ever, because there weren't many people that love the same music we love. It's old school hip hop, it's 90s R&B.
I remember it. Yeah, totally. We've smashed out. Yeah. Jamie, you said to me, who you asked me one question. You said, who's the best triple threat? And what you meant, the question was essentially, I've got the best triple threat. I'll wait for you to answer, then I'll tell you. Because I said Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. Which is
sing, dance, act, tough act to follow. And you were like, nah, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Oscar winner, bro.
Yeah,
you got me.
But you know what though? They're pretty on par. JT's a beast, bro.
JT is a beast.
And so, because I think JT has better music than Jamie Foxx. You would disagree with that. But then Jamie Foxx is not. You can't hold a candle to Jamie on the movies.
Yeah, but in saying that as well, right? JT's music is. See, I can't say Jamie's better. Jamie is more of my preference. That's
you like it more.
That's subjective. Yeah. But JT, hands down, globally, music, he's a beast. And bro, if you listen to some of his live stuff, his band,
fire. We've seen him live. He came to Ottawa last year.
Yeah, we were this close to him. We got
VIP,
given these VIP seats.
That was wild.
He's like a reverse Malteser, you know what I mean? He's got that.
Yes.
He's brown, bro. He's got rhythm. He's unbelievable. Yeah. I respect him. Those two, I would pitch right there. You know what I mean?
But of course we remember that trip. We had a great time,
bro. So good. And so I never forget, just the feeling that you guys bring to wherever you are. You make everyone feel like family. And I wanted to just ask about that. I want you guys to unpack that a little bit, because I know that. I've had other friends that have hung out with you guys. I know you guys know Ryan and Brioni Alcord and great friends now. And even when we've spoken about you guys, how much we love you guys, there's still that culture that you guys bring where people just feel comfortable. People feel like family. How do you do it? How do you make people feel so like family what are some things that you can help people? Because even people who run churches and ministries and companies and organizations, I think it's a really important culture to have, where it doesn't, like you mentioned, making sure you run church, or there's an element of running church like a business or like an organization 9 to 5, and having structures and processes is key. But how do you, in the midst of that, still make it feel like family, where like you and I are in this together?
Yeah.
How do you cultivate that culture?
Look, my answer is very simple and very brief. You have to mean it, and you have to be relentless.
Yeah.
Because authenticity is what people want. It's always been what people have wanted, but more, I think, these days than ever. There's a cynicism that people sniff, and they're looking for people who mean what they say.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we like the likes of a Bill Gates. It's not that he's rich, that helps. It's not that he's smart, that helps. But it's that this guy is just, he means it. He wants to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Whereas, you look at like a Jeff Bezos, Amazon or whatever, I think he gave 1.5 billion, I think, to global warming.
Wow.
It doesn't, it hits different because with Bill Gates, you feel like this is my dude.
Yeah.
Whereas these other guys are a bit different. So you have to mean it. You have to mean it. People, if you say it and don't mean it, it's worse than if you had never have said it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then the second thing, I think you have to be relentless, because people, especially for Nadia and I, both of our parents, our mums are Indigenous Kiwis, New Zealanders, both Māori. And so in Māori culture, family and community is second nature.
Yeah.
Whereas in Western culture, Caucasian culture, which we're both half, it's not. And so when I say to a guy like in New Zealand, if I say to a Māori or an Islander, bro, come around, help yourself, 100%.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it twice.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, bro, I was waiting for the invite.
Fridge rights,
Wi-Fi rights, it's over. And so, but and so for any church in New Zealand, really, that's still going to be a minority group.
Yeah.
Unless you're specifically targeting those groups, those ethnic groups.
Yeah.
So then your majority is going to be Caucasian. It's going to be probably going to be a large portion Asian, and different ethnic groups that don't necessarily have that outward looking community focus. And that's no slight on those ethnic groups.
Yeah.
I would be saying to like white guys, I'll be like, bro, come over, bro, help yourself, man. Can't wait. You're always welcome. Yeah. You have an open invite, always. And then 6 months later, they'd be like, bro, like, man, what's up with you and me? Are we straight? I'm like, 100% we're straight. What's wrong with you? Oh, did you never invite me? I'm like, oh, I invited you that one time, but that's a standing invite. So it's on you. But then I learned like that doesn't mean anything to people. Yeah. To people who aren't used to that. That doesn't mean anything. So then I'm like, okay, Nads, what do you think? We need to change our strategy. So she's like, okay, cool. We just need to walk. We need to greet every person at the door. Big hug. Grab whatever they're bringing. Get them a hot drink. Make sure the house is warm. Music's playing. And when they leave, walk every person to their car. Yeah. So we're just relentless. So if we say that we're family, if we say it, we mean it, and we're gonna be. So then I haven't seen you guys for 2 years. Yeah. Brief Instagram things, little text chats, whatever. But then you're like, hey, would you mind jumping on and do this Zoom chat? Of course, 100%. Yeah. It's not even up for grabs. The only question is, when does it work for our schedules? And I can see the sun's just come up there. Appreciate you guys waking up to do it. You know?
Shout out to us. We can't see you at all, bro. We love you guys.
Yeah, that's our half Caucasian coming through. So that's what I would say. And I want to throw to Nadia. She's passionate about this, but I would just say you have to mean it, and you must be relentless in your desire for people to believe you and then buy into that same culture. So you've created a family. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, and honestly, I think this is potentially one of the most important parts of this whole, whatever this is, this whole recording. Yeah. This part of the discussion. Yeah. I would say this is that lead pastors and pastors in general, we have to recognize that the culture in your church, the vibe in your church, the feeling in your church, the spirit in your church is always going to be a reflection of your home.
Come on.
Always.
Yeah.
So good.
And so if we don't have the Spirit of God in our house, I'm not joking. If we haven't had kind of worship and just that sense of worship in our home for a few weeks, no doubt within a week, I'll see it in our church.
Yeah.
I'll see the lack. And it's the same thing with connection and community, because it's God's house, right?
Wow.
And so he talks, like throughout the Bible, there's so much about obeying him and obedience. And if you have that, he'll come and fill your home.
Yeah.
And so there's that kind of translation that happens, that transfer that happens, where whatever you have in your home is going to be reflected in your church.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's really important that you don't just delegate off connection and community, especially if you're a lead pastor.
So good.
To just, whoever, others, like everybody else does it, but I don't have to because I need to seek the Lord.
Yeah.
If you want a church that is teacher-based, then that's going to be fine. Teaching-based, it's going to work.
Yeah.
But if you want a church where it's going to feel like family, then you have to, it has to be the same in your home. Your home has to resemble that as well. So for us, we've got authority in that when it comes to our church, because our home is always full. Our home is filled with people. We do ministry in our home first, and everything that we do here is then reflected in a Sunday service. And so that's what I would say. You can't go around expecting that you're going to get something that you don't first do yourself. And so I think we've always done ministry in our home. Our door has always been opened. And look, there are different personalities. I get it. But you don't have to be an extrovert to allow people to feel welcome. You don't have to be an extrovert to cook dinner for someone. You don't have to be an extrovert to have someone over for a glass of wine. You don't have to be an extrovert to say, hey, bring your kids over to enjoy this. Too much kind of, I don't know, too many excuses being made around our personality types. God says, be hospitable.
Wow. I love it.
Like he tells us to do it.
I love
and
that.
So we have to bring people back into our home. And there is this whole movement, and people are calling it a movement. I don't know if it should be called a movement. It's more like coming back to basics. But there's this whole thought that's getting out at the moment where it's like, oh, it starts in your home. It starts at the table. It starts with a meal. That is not like, that's not, those are ABCs of our faith. And so
revolutionary. It should just be what we've been doing for so long.
Exactly. It all starts in your home. Ministry starts in your home. And so have them in your home. Have people, let them stay a bit longer. Don't let your teens push people out of your life,
Wow.
Can I just add, Levi had a teacher. He shares this story quite a bit. I'm going to share it for him. But, Levi had this teacher who was the deputy principal of his college, and he'd go in there to do kind of like teaching when he had left school. And he was sitting in her office one day, and she just kept getting interruptions from boys in the school, just constant interruptions. And at the end of it, he said to her, Miss So-and-so, how do you ever get any of your work done? And she looked at him and she said, Levi, they are my work. And that's the thing. That people, that's what we're here for. We have to allow people to be in our lives and not be too disconnected,
That's so you guys though. I love that as well. But you're right. It should be all of us. It should be how we do what we do. I love it. Okay, just while I want to know what your thoughts are, because you guys mentioned this whole introvert extrovert thing. Can you speak into that for a second? Because people do use that as an excuse a lot. Or maybe not even just as an excuse. People talk about it a lot. I'm an introvert, you're an extrovert. Extroverts do this better, introverts do that better. And sometimes we allow our personality to impact our identity and our calling as leaders and as people. Speak into that for a second. What are your thoughts around it?
Look, I think there's so many sides to it. And I think that on the one hand, I think that the evangelical church has not done a good job of addressing the introvert. Because so much of our program and everything that we do is so catered for the extrovert. Like the visitors break which is so crucial to the church, the formal gathering of the church, to actually say, hey, because you can't really worship hardcore if you don't know the bloke sitting next to you.
Yeah,
So you say, hey, how you going? Oh, yeah, great. Such and such. Oh, yeah, cool. So then you're able to kind of like have a better worship experience, for instance, and then you get to meet people.
Yeah.
But we've done that for so long that we forget that for some people, that's the most horrific, anxiety-inducing, soul-eroding moment of the whole church gathering. Because the last thing they want to do is talk to someone else. They want to get out of their car. They want to walk to church. They want to enjoy church, and then they want to leave. And that doesn't make them a bad Christian.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. We need to be more empathetic, I do believe.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, for instance, I think that personality types, which is what we're talking about, have been used as excuses for bad behavior. So I think that there are a lot of introverts that are actually like really poorly behaved when it comes to other people.
Yeah.
And they say it's because I'm an introvert. Well, no, let's go back to the root definition of what it is to be an extrovert or an introvert. And by definition, those personality types are based on where you get your energy from.
Yeah.
And so I would go so far as to make the argument that Christ was an introvert because he every day made sure that he withdrew to pray for alone time, to seek God, and that's where he got his energy. That was his secret source of power to then face the crowds. But we'll never know really this side of eternity if that argument actually can stand and whether he got energy from crowds. But I just think that there are more introverts. I think they're in the majority. I think there are more than there are extroverts. I think that we need to have more empathy for that personality type. But then I think we need to make sure that we don't use them as excuses. So then extroverts all of a sudden treating people really poorly because they're loud mouths and they think it's okay to be angry and fly off the handle or be rude and arrogant because I'm an extrovert. No. That's not nothing to do. Those things have nothing to do with
what you are. Yeah.
Your personality type. You obviously get energy from people. That's excellent. Now treat them with care.
So good.
You obviously get energy from being alone. That's excellent. Make sure that you make time for the Great Commission, because the Great Commission was not to Netflix in your room alone. That's not the Great Commission. Great Commission is to go and make disciples of all nations. So how, as an introvert, can we create space in the church for them to do that?
Yeah.
That might be programming. That might be web design. That might be behind a camera. Whatever that might be, we've got to make sure that we address it. But I don't think it can be this massive crutch that we lean on and go, well, I'm excusing bad behavior because it's the type of personality that I am. Give me a break.
Yeah, so good. That's unreal. I love it. Hey, before you guys go, you guys started to get a little bit of clout around social media around your top tens, right? You were giving out some top tens.
Top tens,
you guys were crushing. I love them. And so, you know what, to finish this convo, we would normally do a deep dive. We can if we want, because we've got some old school photos of you guys. But I really want to do a top. I wanted to do a top 5 with you guys, and just get some top 5s. Give us. I want to know your top 5 artists. I want to know your top 5. What are they called? What's it when you go for a drive? No. Yeah, there's a car.
Destinations?
No. No, when you go on a, what are they called? When you go in the car, road trip. Sorry, I was like,
yeah, nice.
Sorry, we'll edit that out in post.
Speaking of dumb,
right. So I want to know your top 5 road trip tracks.
Ooh.
Top artists. Actually, let's do that. Let's go one by one. All right, top 5 road trip tracks.
Yeah. Go. Oh man. Music Soul Child.
So good,
bro. Bro, absolute go-to. Probably a song called "Passing Me by the Far Side, which is a '90s pop crew.
Right.
Definitely some Stevie Wonder. Probably living in the city, Stevie Wonder, or maybe Ribbons in the Sky, something like that. Definitely some soulful stuff.
Yeah.
Then these days, probably going to be a little bit of like maybe Wallacam. Or like 65th and Ingleside, like some of those nice Chance the Rapper tracks.
Okay.
A little bit of maybe some Gambino.
Gambino?
Childish Gambino, definitely. No Name's gonna make an appearance.
No Name is fire.
Song 32, No Name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna be in the mix.
Probably you haven't said that surprised me.
A little bit of Pink Floyd. Sorry, you go. What was that?
MJ.
Oh, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
look, I think there are artists that are above the discussion.
Yeah, there are some artists that are above. We're kind of like dropping in the more recent.
I'm trying to give
Stevie
you-
Wonder's not more recent. Neither
Yeah.
is Fleetwood Mac.
But I think like,
Go artists. Tell us your top 5 road trip artists, and include the ones that supersede. Like what?
okay,
What are your
all-time road trip artists?
Yeah, because tracks are too tough.
I feel bad because mine changed. Like I would say right now, if I jumped in the car and I was going on a road trip, no doubt I'm listening to Anderson .Paak, Come Down.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think what he wants is all time. So Anderson .Paak's not all time, but he's current. His current top 5.
But that song is all time for me. And then like Solange,
Oh, Solange.
you know, chuck on a bit of like, don't touch my hair. All of a sudden you're just, I mean.
Yeah. Praise in the sky.
Yeah.
Nah.
Praise in the sky.
Okay, so Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
For definite.
Yeah.
Probably Q-Tip.
Q-Tip for sure.
Q-Tip,
Most
Tribe
Def.
Called Quest, Most Def is going to be in there. Yeah, he's going to be.
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
Sure.
Okay, Michael Jackson, Lauryn Hill, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I reckon Prince.
Yeah.
Prince is gonna. Yeah.
Prince is going to be
Purple Rain.
Prince is going to be in the mix.
Fleetwood Mac.
I think Fleetwood Mac is in the top 5.
Yeah.
And I think Stevie Wonder's going to round it out.
Yeah.
That's a solid top 5. That's a Hall of Fame top 5. See, I would actually put Usher in there.
Yeah, bro. I'll take Usher any day.
Because for me, Usher is just like the moment that you hear like like You Got a Bad, like, or any, you remind me that
love it.
Like as soon as that comes on,
you make me wanna Usher.
Yeah.
How about Pop Your Collar?
Oh, one of my favorites. And that's it. We talked about that last time we were together because Pop Your Collar for me has always been a favorite, but no one knows it.
No, super underrated. But what a track!
It's not a banger, but like I'm about it.
I'm about it. All right, let's go top 5 athletes of all time.
Oh, well, favorites or actual genuinely brilliant athletes?
Ooh, no, let's go. This is hard.
I
don't want it to be stats. I'll go favorites.
Oh, Nadia could tell you my favorite athletes of all time.
Yeah,
of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Number 1 for sure.
I think he wouldn't make number 2, but I feel like he would be in there. Michael Phelps.
100%. I respect that hugely, and
he would make both lists, both favorite and just all time, because he might be the greatest athlete of all time. 28 goals.
It's true.
He
might make your like artist. I was like, yo, can this guy sing as well?
Triple threat. Yep.
Tana
Umaga. Oh, one of the
what a great
All Blacks.
Roger Federer.
Yeah.
Nadia's killing this.
And I reckon included in there would be a little bit of Kobe.
Oh, for sure.
And Steph Curry.
For sure.
And LeBron.
For sure. Probably if I was to move away from basketball on that last one, on the 5th one, I'd probably say Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Game-changing athlete.
Unbelievable. All right, how about you, Nads? Go movies. Top 5 movies of all time.
I'll tell you who. I'll at least give you a couple of Nadia's top 5 movies of all time.
Yeah, go.
Okay, probably her favorite movie is the movie Snatch.
Yeah, great movie.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is very special for us, and Nadia loves it. But probably The Devil Wears Prada.
Hey,
is going to be right up there.
Yeah.
Nadia likes a couple of crappy movies that are like period movies like Pride and Prejudice, stuff like that.
No, period films.
Period films, garbage.
I love that period film. That's so good.
So just there's a whole genre of movies that Nadia loves that can just absolutely get wrecked.
What's your top 3, Levi?
Top 3 movies?
Yeah.
Nadia could tell you those.
Yeah, go.
For sure.
I feel like you did a poor job actually of bringing my favorite movies to light.
Snatch.
Snatch, definitely, 100%.
Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say? What did I miss?
No, we'll jump into Levi's.
Yeah,
give me one of yours because I want to make sure I lock it into the memory banks.
I think Finding Forrester would be up there. Goodwill Hunting.
This woman is a good woman.
So you're like a feel-good movie kind of person. You're
For sure.
Yeah, I like that.
And you know what movie I really actually love, which hardly anybody really likes, but is A Few Good Men.
Oh, you know what else Nadia loves, man, is the Kill Bill.
Oh, I love Kill Bill.
You know, the Kill Bill.
I love it. Hey, that's just like so out of that like realm, bro.
Oh, I love it.
So random.
Tarantino all day, like.
Yeah, I love Tarantino and what's his name, Snatch dude.
Brad Pitt.
No, the filmmaker.
Oh, Guy Ritchie. I mean, look, I could, in terms of favorite movies, really the question is, what could you sit down any day and watch at any time?
Yeah.
I think that justifies favorite movie. Good Will Hunting, for sure.
Yeah.
Then probably The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank, yep. And the Avengers Endgame, definitely there, but it's dropping just because it was so hype. But then as I come back to reality, I'm like, okay, it's a superhero flick. So it's in its own space.
Oh, and definitely this would be up there for Levi. Remember the Titans.
Yeah. Oh, so good. What a
cry.
Actually, we could both watch that movie any day of the week, like over and over. We love that movie so much.
Every time. Like, we used to watch, remember at school, at school, whenever there was like a free period out or like there was no class on, the teachers would always play, like maybe that was the only movie in the bank, but they would always put that on like for like, yeah, bro, I love remember.
Yeah. I'm about that, man.
I think if there were movies that were like hallmarks for us, like as a couple, it would be Prince of Egypt, The Lord of the Rings, the trilogy.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
So good. 100%.
100%.
And you know what movie doesn't get like the thing? For me, what always gets overlooked? Cool Runnings.
Yes! My gosh!
It's got to be in there, bro. I love it.
I love that you brought that up because I've been meaning to put that back into my top 10.
The thing about Cool Runnings too that people overlook, is the outfits, bro.
The fashion.
Oh, bro, the colours.
The drip, my friend.
Oh, it's fire. It is fire. Hey, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay, cool. Hey, look, we are going to let you guys go, but can you just please explain just a couple photos? Is that okay?
Of course, please.
Can we run you through? It'll be super quick. It's called a deep dive. We want to share some photos with you guys, and we just want you guys to tell us what is going on real quick. Here, look at this. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible. Nadia, do you even age? What is that?
Look at this woman here. She is just gorgeous, man.
Unbelievable. Levi,
I don't age. I just widen.
You're so beautiful.
Whatever.
No.
You guys look incredible. Is that the Sunny Bill? Is that the Sunny Bill haircut?
Yeah, that is the Sunny Bill.
It wasn't what I was going for, but it clearly is.
I love it. I once went into this like Islander guy's hairdresser like down in Sydney, and every time I'd walk into his hairdresser, I'd be like, "Hey, bro, could you do this and this?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, just sit. It's all good. I've got you, bro." Sit down. Every time I'd walk out with the Sunny Bill, bro, I was like, "That is what I went in for," but it's what I'm leaving with.
That was your Sunny Bill.
All right, here's one. I wanted you guys to explain this. Nads, is this a common thing to walk around with clothless children?
This in New Zealand. This is not uncommon to see beautiful women walking around with naked babies.
I was like, this is
it's a pretty cold country.
I know. Yeah.
Look how beautiful you are.
Unbelievable.
Gosh,
and here's a photo that I found that I was really proud of personally. Levi, can you explain this?
Oh, okay. So why on earth Glenn Barrett is coordinating this, I do not know. But I think what's happened is the Wallabies have won. I've lost a bet. I've had to wear a Wallabies jumper, and he's got me up to make fun of me. Why he's done that?
Oh my gosh, that is wow! Look at you.
Look at you, Mr. Handsome with the Wallabies jersey. I love it.
Is it the worst color ever?
It is so bad. It's an ugly jersey. Hey, we love you guys so much.
Love you, fam.
Thank you for coming on. So grateful for your friendship. Thank you for your leadership, your wisdom. We're so proud of you guys and everything you guys are building in Canada. And I know it's not just touching your city, but it really has a global impact. You're stirring people from different parts of the world, including us. We're so grateful to call you guys friends, but we're so inspired by you guys and so proud of you guys. If you're watching here, make sure you follow these guys on Instagram, follow their church on Instagram, get behind them, support them. We love you. We love you guys.
We love you guys
Thanks,
very
Jason.
much.
Thanks, Katie.
Love you both. Love your family.